Welcome to Delphi in central Greece for the Delphi Economic Forum. 4,000 people here. And just over the mountain you can see behind me, round the corner in fact from where I'm standing, is the amazing archaeological site, which is where Apollo said that we will convey truth to everyone around the world. And that's what a gathering like this, the Delphi Economic Forum, is about. 4,000 people gathered, but at a time when really no one is sure which direction the world is traveling in. Let me just give you literally two or three ideas of what I've picked up here from many of the sessions. First of all, Trump is everywhere. Trump is everywhere because of the way in which he is imposing his determination, not just through tariffs, on everything that happens. I've met several people here, Americans, who've lost their jobs simply because the institution or what they were doing has been shut down summarily. They had a job last week, on Monday it stopped. And that is leaving many people really unsure about what kind of America Trump really wants. And they are thinking that this is now even more intimidating than they ever dared to realize, particularly beyond tariffs. The protests that are now happening in the United States, the decimation that's going on with relationships here in Europe, and the way in which Europe is having to try and catch up and try and get a new strategic autonomy, whether in politics, but certainly in defense. Obviously, these issues were on the agenda before we all gathered here, but now there's been very open discussion about the urgency that's needed, urgency of real thinking. Urgency, and the word has come up time and time again, used by many people on platforms, of the unthinkable, which is now happening, creating a new mental capacity to handle all of what is happening and to plan for survival in this new environment. And certainly one leading figure I've just been speaking to, an American who I've known for many, many years, saying the America we've known is not the America we will return to, even if Trump were to be not the president in 3.5 years. There is decimation, and there is a definitive impact on the way of life in America and what America expects to be able to transmit, whether it be here in Europe or certainly with China. And certainly one leading figure, Sir Robin Niblett, the former Director General of the Chatham House think tank, who's just finished a big book on the relationship between the US and China, said that the relationship is intractable and is going to be overwhelming much of what we take for granted. Other things which have come through, real sense of positiveness in certain quarters about climate and climate change and sustainability, particularly the way finance, despite the impressions, is now coming to the table with new ideas of how to fund and finance climate, sustainability, biodiversity, and being able to counter this, to embed this in their planning. You've heard this from me before, but there's now a strategic commitment. We've heard that from several bankers behind closed doors, and a feeling that maybe many more of them will go public with their determination to embed climate change and the cost reductions, the profit incentives into their planning. Similarly, what other things have been coming up? Well, there's really a very strong sense that politics simply does not really understand the enormity of what is happening, which is totally in line with what we've been saying for Thinking Unthinkable for many, many years. Now there's a much more open declaration of and awareness and a willingness to be frank about the implications for everyone. So those are some of the brief takeaways. Many more I could be giving you, but in a couple of minutes, that's all I've really got time for, and I believe that you will only want to take in that kind of series of messages.